Hello, y'all. Welcome to I'll Be a Mother Trucker. And this is Michaela, your favorite mother trucker. I am filming this today on the 4th of July. I am here in Colorado, Loveland, Colorado, beautiful Colorado, for doing my 34-hour reset I just delivered. So anyway, guys, we are going to talk about some things that I think about every 4th of July. Okay? Welcome back to the channel. For me, the 4th of July, like Veterans Day, like Memorial Day, they're all they blend. 4th of July is celebrating our independence from England, because we had taxation without representation. So, but we still had to fight to get it and die. Just like our soldiers are doing today. A lot of people have just stop thinking about this war we've been in, or this conflict, which we have lost more soldiers in than the whole Vietnam War. So, you know, our soldiers are fighting and dying for us this very day, and I say thank you. I was a military wife. Most of you know I brought it up in a few of my early videos. I was a military wife for 16 years. I traveled all over with the military supporting my ex-husband. And then he got wounded in Iraq. And they flew him from there to Kandahar, and then from Kandahar to Landstuhl, Germany. And then they brought him to the stateside, still on a respirator and in a coma. So I'm going to take you through that day that I found out. I was out training, working horses. And I had talked to my husband earlier that morning. And for all y'all that just want to hear about the trucking stuff, this is going to have nothing to do with trucking. So you can go ahead and quit now. If you want to hear this, that's fine too. So anyway, I was out working the horses. My husband called. And, you know, you always made yourself available, because your husband calls, you're there, you're answering. And he just sounded kind of down and out of it that time. And I said, well, what's wrong? And he goes, he was on rear D, and he goes, I hate being on rear D. I'm a damn paper pusher. And he's a Green Beret. So he's all hoorah, you know, let me get out there and do my thing. And I'm relieved, because I'm like, finally, this is a deployment. I don't have to worry about my husband. Is he going to come home? Because we have people eat at our table, friends of ours, that died over there. And I'll tell you what happens when you get notified of that. So, anyway, we turn around, and he calls me. Like I said, we're talking, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, you know, you're going to get it. The only call you're going to get is from the notification board saying I got a paper cut. And they're letting you know that I was wounded with a paper cut. Because that's the worst thing that's going to happen. He's all depressed. I'm like, woo, 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 woo. You know, because I'm like, I don't want my, you know, husband to get hurt. And so I go back out, and I'm riding this new horse we got in that I'm training for this lawyer. And little bronky guy, I remember him as a quarter horse. Nice horse, though. So I rode him, and I rode another horse. And then I come in for lunch. And I get this call. And they go, is it, and I'm not going to use his name, is this so-and-so, Sergeant so-and-so's wife? And I said, yes, it is. And they go, this is, whatever his name with the casualty notification board. Now, when the casualty notification board calls you, your husband is definitely alive, because you get the on the door if he's not. They will not let you know by phone. So anyway, they turn around and let me know that they go, ma'am, your husband's been wounded. And remember, I just talked to my husband. If anything's going to happen, it's going to be the paper cut. So I'm thinking he's pulling a joke on me. And I said, oh, what, did he get a paper cut? And the guy goes, Mrs. Foose, this is a little more serious than that, and I'd appreciate it if you would take this seriously. And then at that moment, I realize something's happened. But in my head, I'm trying to figure it out, because he is just at Rear D, at base camp, and then I did the base camp get bombed. You know, all these things are going through my head. Because, you know, they'll strap stuff on, send a toddler in, and boom, the mess hall's gone. So I said, okay, what happened? He goes, okay, ma'am, the Marine barracks, which is my ex-husband's compound, was up here, the Marines were down here. They got bombed. And so he gets in his little truck, ooh, action, you know, and rushes down there. And they have all this T-111 siding on the building. And he's ripping the siding off the building because both entrances are engulfed. And this is the story I'm being told by this guy, because they're telling you how this has happened, what's happened to your husband. And then they turn around and he's pulling guys out through this hole he made. And my ex-husband was a big man. I'm 6'1", he was like 6'5", just a huge, big guy. And he's pulling these Marines out. And then the last one he's pulling out, there's another explosion which knocks my ex-husband down on the ground, and this guy's on top of him, knocks his breath out, and this fire just goes right above them. And when it does, his automatic reflex is and then the fire goes in his lungs, the heat from it, and it burns his lungs. And then all of a sudden, from hitting his head, he got a noxic brain injury. From breathing in the fire, he got, a traumatic brain injury from hitting his head, a noxic brain injury from breathing in the fire, and it cut oxygen to his brain. It also stopped his heart. So, they were working on him. They got him stable, where he was on a ventilator, but his heart was going again. And he goes, we will get back with you as soon as we know more, you know. And I said, well, what's next? They go, well, as soon as we get him to a certain stage of, they got to be at a certain stage, I think critical 2 or something like that, to be able to move them to long stool. And then from long stool, you got to be in another stage to bring you back stateside. So I am freaked out. I call my mother, and I'm like, Mom, come. My mom comes down. She's with me for a while, and, you know, they call up. They say my husband's condition has improved some. I told my mom, go ahead and go home. And then later that day, they turn around and give me another call, and they go, ma'am, your husband has taken a turn for the worse. He's not breathing. His heart has stopped. The doctor's working on him. We're just letting you know the doctor will call you as soon as she gets him stable and, you know, clue you in, basically. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm just flipping out. You know, and okay, now we're going to stop here just for a second. And I'm going to tell you about another friend. Then this will come into play into this. Okay, a friend of ours, Molly, her husband was a captain, and he had just gotten deployed, and she gets this like 2 weeks later, gets this on the door. And she opens the door, and they just turn around and they push the door open on her. And there's a guy standing there, and there's a couple guys behind him. They say, "Are you so-and-so?" And she goes, "Yeah." She's freaked out. And they're all in uniform, so she knows that they're military. So they push her backwards in, and two guys flank behind her. They're like, one's here, and then the one guy's in the middle, and she looks down, she sees the cross. So she knows it's the chaplain. They gave her the speech, "Ma'am, we're sorry to inform you, but your husband's been killed in the line of duty," blah, 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 blah. The reason they put the guys behind her is in case she falls backwards, side to side, goes to faint, they can catch her, and the chaplain's in front, can grab her in front. The reason they push into the door is there's women have seen that, and they knew their husband was gone. They shut the door, ran into their bedroom, and shot themselves. So, now back to the story. So this doctor's supposed to call me. And, you know, and this happened, I guess, by this time it was like 7 o'clock in the evening. And I wait 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. All this keeps coming to the next day morning. And I'm just sitting there, still in the same spot. You know, the kids running back and forth. It's the weekend. And no, it was summertime. It's the reason they were home. And I'm like, you know, this is not happening, you know. And they just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm just numb, and the kids still don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden I hear, and I will never, ever forget that knock as long as I live. All I could think is, oh my God, if I answer the door, my husband's dead. If I don't answer the door, he's still alive, at least for those few minutes. I know it doesn't make sense. If he's dead, he's dead, but... So, I just, all of a sudden, I get terrified, and I run into the hallway because I'm afraid they're going to look through the window, the curtain's open. And I'm squatted down, and I just pee myself all over the floor. And my young son goes running by me, and I go to lunge and grab him, and I miss, and he gets the door, and he opens it. It's his friend from next door. Child, I'll never, ever forget that moment. My entire life, I will never forget that moment. So I turned around and sent the kids next door to the neighbors, and I call up the casualty notification board. Don't think that I did not tell those mother sons of bitches what I thought. And okay, come to find out, the doctor had worked on him, stabilized him. She's so tired, she forgot to call me. She went to bed. But the guy at the other end of the casualty notification, he was not pleasant. And trust me, neither was I. So anyway, this happens a few times. He keeps, you know, crashing, heart keeps stopping. They keep reviving him. And finally they got him stable enough. He went to Longstall, Germany. Another week he got back to the States and went to Fort Sam Houston in Texas. It's one of the top trauma centers in the country. We were in Oklahoma, so I go ahead and go down there. And a year and a half of being at his bedside, helping him get back to full battle rattle, you know. And he did. He made a full recovery, and he's active duty today. He's holding on for dear life because he ain't giving me half his retirement. So anyway, we got him back to where he was healthy, strong, and able to serve the country still. And he's been back, I think, once. Since then, I don't think he'll go back again. So, anyway, guys, that's the people I think about on the 4th of July. I think about the soldiers. I think about their families. And thank you to all you military wives. No one ever thanks you. Thank you to the kids of these soldiers. No one ever thanks them. Everyone always thanks the soldier, but I'm sorry, we serve too. We serve right beside our husbands. We serve, our kids serve next to their father or their mother, whoever's over there. We always are terrified when our spouses are overseas because we don't know if they're coming back to us. And it's a very real possibility. You know, I mean, it's hard. And everyone seems to have forgotten this, that we still have soldiers over there. They're still dying. I could tell you stories that I've seen at Long Stow. I'm just not going to. Not Long Stow, but at Fort Sam Houston. It was BAMC was the name of the hospital. Horrible, horrible things that people should not have survived. So anyway, you guys, please think about the families as well as the soldiers that are serving on this Independence Day, that are away from their families, and the families who do not have their loved one there because they're over there fighting for our freedoms. Take care. Mother Trucker out.